Hey, welcome. Have you ever stopped to think about the hidden logic behind your daily choices? You know, why you pick one thing over another? Well, today we're going to pull back that curtain. We're going to break down this amazing economic model that actually explains the science behind every single purchase you make. So let's just dive right in and see how it all works.
It all starts with a simple, everyday choice, just like this one. Should you grab that extra coffee? Or should you hang on to your cash for something else? Now, it might feel like a gut decision, but there's a really fascinating framework that maps out exactly how your brain weighs these options to find what's truly the perfect choice for you.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of your choice, we first need a way to map out what you actually want. Let's forget about money for just a minute. This is all about your personal happiness, your satisfaction. And economists, they have this brilliant tool for this called an indifference curve.
Now, the idea here is actually pretty simple. An indifference curve connects all the different combinations of, let's say, coffees and bagels that would make you equally happy. So it doesn't matter if you have a ton of coffee and just a few bagels, or a few coffees and a whole lot of bagels. Any point on this one curve gives you the exact same level of satisfaction. You are, quite literally, indifferent between them.
So these curves, they follow a few key rules. First off, a higher curve is always better. I mean, it represents more of both things, and more is better, right? They also slope downwards, because if you get more of one thing, you have to give up some of the other to stay just as happy. They're also bowed inwards, and we'll get to why in just a sec. And this is a big one. They can never, ever cross, because that would just break all the logic.
So why that signature bowed shape? Well, it comes down to a really basic human trait: diminishing marginal utility. Just think about it. When you're starving, that first bagel is just incredible. The fifth one? Not so much. The more you have of something, the less satisfaction or utility you get from just one more. And that makes you way less willing to trade away the other good to get it.
And that leads us to this next key idea, the marginal rate of substitution, or MRS. It sounds technical, but it's just your personal trade-off rate. It's the slope of that curve at any given spot. And it tells us exactly how many coffees you'd be willing to trade to get just one more bagel. And of course, that rate changes along the curve because of that diminishing utility we were just talking about.
All right, so we've mapped out our perfect world of preferences. But we don't live in a world of unlimited coffee and bagels. So now it's time to bring in the second, and let's be honest, much harsher piece of the puzzle: your budget.
So a budget constraint, it's just a line that shows all the possible combinations of things you can actually buy with the money you've got. Think of it like a boundary between what's possible and what's, well, just a daydream. Everything on or inside this line, you can afford. Everything outside it, you can't.
Let's make this real with an example. So meet Erin. She's got 18 bucks, coffee is $3, bagels are $2. To draw her budget line, we just find the extremes. If she blows all her money on coffee, she can get 6 cups. That's our first point. If she spends it all on bagels, she gets 9. That's our second point. Now just connect those dots, and there it is. Every single affordable combination of coffee and bagels lies right on that line.
Now, pay attention here, because the slope of this budget line is super important. It's decided by one thing and one thing only: the ratio of the prices. See, unlike the indifference curve slope, which was your personal trade-off, this slope is the trade-off the market forces on you. For Erin, it means she has to give up 2/3 of a coffee to get one more bagel, whether she wants to or not.
Okay, so we have what you want, your indifference curves, and we have what you can afford, your budget line. And now for the magic moment, let's put it all together and find the single best choice you can possibly make.
The goal here is pretty simple, right? You want to be as happy as you can possibly be. And in our little model, that means reaching the highest, most outward indifference curve you can get to. But, and it's a big but, you are stuck with reality. You can only pick a combination that's actually on or inside your budget line. So here it is, the key moment. Your single best, happiness-maximizing choice is found at the exact point where the highest possible indifference curve just kisses your budget line. That point is called the point of tangency. It is the one spot that gets you the absolute most happiness your money can buy.
And this brings us to the golden rule of consumer choice. At that perfect spot, the slope of your indifference curve, your personal willingness to trade, is exactly equal to the slope of the budget line, which is the market's required trade-off. It's where your personal valuation of the goods perfectly lines up with the market's valuation.
Okay, so we've found the perfect choice. But what's really cool about this model is that it's not just a static snapshot. It can actually predict how you'll react when the world around you changes, like when prices go up or down. So when a price changes, it hits your decision in 2 separate ways.
First, there's the income effect. If a price drops, suddenly your money goes further. It makes you feel a little richer and you can buy more of everything. Then, there's the substitution effect. That same price drop makes that item a much better deal compared to other stuff, which encourages you to substitute toward it.
And when you put these two effects together, that feeling of being richer and the attraction of a better deal, they combine to explain one of the most fundamental principles in all of economics.
The law of demand. It's simple. All other things being equal, when the price of something falls, the amount people want to buy will rise.
And this model shows us exactly why that's true. Check it out. If the price of bagels falls, Erin's budget line pivots outward. She can now afford way more bagels than she could before. And that rotation lets her reach a brand new, higher indifference curve, a new sweet spot, where, you guessed it, she buys more bagels. The model perfectly shows the law of demand in action.
So there you have it. We've just unpacked the hidden mechanics of a simple choice between coffee and bagels. But the real power of this way of thinking is just how flexible it is. I mean, think about it. How could you use this same logic of preferences and constraints to analyze some of the bigger life decisions, like how much should you work versus enjoy your free time, or how much should you save for the future versus spend today? The applications, they're really endless.